Oh, but why are we talking about Bloomberg? Well, because Bloomberg apparently has the idea that, he's the pragmatic candidate. He's the one who's buying this election. Hell, he's spending millions of his own money on different parts of social media. In fact, on Facebook, $1 million a day on Facebook alone. I mean, we don't even use Facebook that much. I mean, but this is Bloomberg we're talking about. And he did an attack ad against, Bernie Bros, because everyone, the corporate media pundits, establishment candidates, they're all afraid. They're all afraid of good old Bernie Sanders and his supporters. So Paul played this video, but we also have two interesting videos. Yeah, we have a few videos that go back to back. Here's the attack ad that Bloomberg and his campaign recently made. Check it out.
I can't read them. They're going too fast.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
It is vitally important for those of us who hold different views to be able to engage in a civil discourse.
Now, by seeing that ad, you would think that, maybe there's some truth behind this. Maybe Bloomberg is being really the guy to unite the country. But, wait, everyone, I think it's time for you to be reminded who exactly Michael Bloomberg is. Paul, please play this next video. Who is that guy? Whoa. What? He's there. Whoa.
How legendarily short he is.
Hey.
Though.
Yeah. Needs stomach boxes.
Put the cop. Yeah, right here. These are quotes from Bloomberg.
These are also too quick.
I don't think there's any chance that Mike Bloomberg is the Democratic nominee.
I agree.
Because, let me tell you something, Bernie Sanders is a lot of things. He's not stupid. And if it comes down to Sanders emerging from these first three, let me tell you what you're going to see on TV from Sanders. You're going to see Mike Bloomberg endorsing Rudy Giuliani. You're going to see him endorsing George W. Bush. You're going to see him endorsing John McCain. And not lukewarm, enthusiastic. If you're telling me that the energized part of the Democratic Party is going to go, oh, hell, we can trust Mike Bloomberg. We can trust Mike Bloomberg. No one trusts Mike Bloomberg, okay? Because Mike Bloomberg's for Mike Bloomberg. He was a Republican when it was convenient and was cuddled up to Rudy Giuliani. Then when it was not so great to be a Republican during the Iraq War, he becomes an independent. And then when he's not an independent anymore, because that doesn't work, he becomes a Democrat.
Hold on. And we have one more video, and this is very important.
This seems like a guy I could vote for.
This is from 2011. Paul, play that last video, please.
Enormous cohort of Black and Latino males aged, let's say, 16 to 25, that don't have jobs, don't have any prospects, don't know how to find jobs, don't know what their skill sets are, don't know how to behave in the workplace where they have to work collaboratively.
Okay, so that's just, again, a short example of who Michael Bloomberg is, because his campaign is desperate. And mind you, he's very short, but, but maybe he's,
I guess
he's offended by
He's Napoleon short. He's not that short.
Right.
It's like there's better insults. He's only 5'8".
Yeah. So, but here's the issue with Bloomberg. That is, he associates himself with the people in the top 1%. That means Bill Clinton. That means Harvey Weinstein. That means the people associated with Epstein. That means the people like Donald Trump. I mean, he knows all these people. He's part of their club. They're all friends with each other. But the only reason why Bloomberg is in this race is so that he can protect this club. And even if Bloomberg loses, it's pig fat to him, because guess what? it's not going to affect them that much. This is Bloomberg, a sociopath who's trying to defend the neoliberal system so everything goes back to normal because Donald Trump is apparently shaking things up and is really making things terrible. Things were terrible long before Donald Trump got into office. But because corporate media is desperate, because Biden is failing, because Klobuchar and Buttigieg don't have what it takes, they're going to go for their next best thing and think, oh, one billionaire versus another billionaire. And of course, Bloomberg is going to try and make himself seem like he's more, clever. But guess what, Bloomberg? You know what? You're beating Donald Trump. Not in the polls, but in the amount of cases of sexual assault and abuse in your own company. You're beating Donald Trump. Donald Trump is losing to you in regards to more cases. There are 30 more cases that Bloomberg has against him than Donald Trump. And this is the guy that's going to unite the party. This is the guy that's supposed to be pragmatic. This is the guy that's going to make people turn out to vote. No, the last thing we need is another billionaire in this race. The last thing the American people need is someone who's out of touch. The last thing we need is someone who abuses women. The last thing we need is someone who's going to marginalize African American and Latino communities because, they fit a profile in his point of view. This is a man who was mayor of New York City who turned a blind eye to police corruption and allowed stop and frisk to happen. This is a guy who's buying his way into election, trying to make himself relevant. This is somebody who should not get the nomination. This is somebody who needs to get out of the race. And we need to end this system now more than ever. So guys, weigh in on these videos, especially the attack ad and recent counteractions towards Bloomberg, because apparently we're being mean, us Bernie bros, even though 70% of Bernie Sanders' campaign is women. That's his leadership. So, let's run with the Bernie bro
And a
narrative.
majority of his supporters are women, a majority are minority, but who needs reason and facts when you have not reason and not facts? Now, I always find it funny with campaigns like this, with messages like this, because they're like, okay, Sanders has millions upon millions of Americans supporting him. Let's find like the 7 or 8 worst and just that represents everyone. Now, again, they're not going, hey, there's these people in Sanders' campaign. That's an issue. Look at these binders of women that are in Sanders' campaign who do bad things. No, they don't have that because that's not a thing that they have to use. Do they have, hey, look at all these sexual assault complaints? No, that's in my own campaign. Never mind, that's not. Do they have anything except Facebook and Twitter posts? Now, my thing is that their point was that Bernie bros, Bernie blah, 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 blah. Again, even though that in and of itself is a racist smear that was adapted into another, basically a sexist smear. Thank you, Hillary Clinton, both times. It's the Obama boys in 08, thanks to Hillary Clinton's campaign, rebranded into Bernie bros. That's all it is. This is why I'm excited to see Bloomberg versus Bernie. This is going to be a fun race, and ironically, Chris Christie was the voice of reason in this. And I loved Emmanuel, like, no, that's my guy.
No, because no one's running up to me saying that they want to get rid of their health insurance. Mind you, don't listen to what Mayor Rahm Emanuel says on any kind of media platform. This is a guy who turned a blind eye to lead in Chicago's drinking water, gentrified African-American Latino communities, and allowed police corruption and other forms of corruption to run rampant during his 8 years as mayor of the city of Chicago. Plus, he covered up the Laquan McDonald shooting because his administration just didn't care about anyone who's not part of his, social group.
I think our position on Rahm is pretty clear.
I know, but we got to keep reminding people because that's who Mayor Rahm Emanuel is. Yeah. He did a terrible job. Yeah, it still is.
Now he's doing on the news.
We got to make sure we remind people he's not in power anymore. He's just on TV.
Yeah, former Mayor Rahm Emanuel.
Right. So here's the concern, though, really, with Mike Bloomberg. Like for all of the that's Daniels. That's me.
Don't worry, folks. We're live.
For all of the obvious reasons that nobody should support his candidacy, like he literally is a Republican.
A Republican in a Democratic primary who just gave a lot of money
Nancy
to the
Pelosi
DNC.
thinks is a Democrat because she
for all of those reasons that we've already said, there's no reason anybody why is anybody even considering him? Why is if some media pundits are talking favorably about him, I think mostly because they're seeing his strategy as something that puts a wrench in the Sanders plan, and that is, I fear, what his strategy is. He's put a lot of money and time into Super Tuesday states. And sort of the tail end of the race, right? Yeah. He entered the race so late that he couldn't reasonably. I mean, he was never in this to win it. Like he has never been like, I'm going to campaign in all 50 states and I'm going to get the most delegates. He's just like, no, I'm going in these Super Tuesday states, these middle of the process states, and he just needs to get some chumps to vote for him. He just needs to get some support, and it needs to come from preferably Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, right? Any kind of lefty support to say, look, the Democratic Party really is the Republican Party, everyone. Everybody likes the Republicans in the Democratic Party, or at least enough percentage of the vote. Can you imagine if he gets some delegates?
Yeah.
Even if you can walk into the convention with some delegates, any amount of delegates, now you've got some like, well, there's this part of the Democratic Party that is Republicans, and we need a big tent, everybody, big tent party. Our party includes Republicans, and they're going to make that argument, and it's going to lead. Yeah. It's going to lend itself to contested convention.
Or use it at
imagine
no one's
if it goes to the
turn out to
second
vote for
round,
Bloomberg.
right?
Yeah.
Super delegates come into play. That all becomes super important. So I am not 100% confident that this is like in the bag for Bernie. Right. I want it to be. I really want him to win. I'm going to do everything I can to help make that happen. But it's actions like this that seem very politically calculated that will have some effect. And will it be enough cumulative effect with having all of the centrists in the race and all of the pundits and the media saying, look, these 5 centrists got more votes than Bernie. Obviously, people hate Bernie. Is it going to be enough to get us to a contested convention? And not that I want that. I mean, obviously, we don't want that.
Well, the Democrats are, in the previous story we did cover, the Democrats are planning for a contested convention, and we are going to be there in Milwaukee when that entire convention is going on. But I think it's important to know that the only way you're going to really control this and take away that narrative, the doomsday scenario, is all of you know the rules and regulations of your state's primaries, show up to vote, and make sure there's election integrity. In mass, we have to vote in mass in order to make sure this doesn't happen, because Bloomberg cannot get away with this, nor can he have any delegates at this point. We have to take that narrative away and that power away from Bloomberg and all these centrist Democrats that are in this race. Now more than ever, we have to turn out the votes.
So now there's the other thing about Bloomberg and all this. This is sort of my hope. I very much like that would be really bad if it ended up the way that you're talking about, Paul. But it's not a impossible path. There's no question about it. But my thought is that Bloomberg is sort of going to do the opposite of what he intended. I think that, is it right that he probably got in to try and have a little more power and be a little bit of a kingmaker in the Democratic Party? Yeah. Does someone with an ego like that, when they start getting votes, when they start showing up in the polls, are they going to go, I'm fine maintaining my original strategy? No. Someone with that amount of money, that amount of ego, that's polling as well as he is right now, is going to go, you know what? I could be president. I'm on the way to doing it. I'm getting people. Everyone fall in. Like, one thing that Bloomberg is doing that is actually very helpful to us is he's going to millionaires and billionaires in these retreats. He's not asking for their money. He's just saying, don't give any more money to anyone else, and you can be in my inner circle when I win. Yeah. And so what is that doing? That starves out Biden, that starves out Klobuchar, that starves out Pete Buttigieg. It starves out everyone that has now taken money from big donors. And so, again, my personal view on how I think this will turn out is that Pete's going to drop out, especially after poor showing in the next 2 states and Super Tuesday. That will go double with Amy Klobuchar. Biden, we already know he's gone. We're just trying to figure out when he's going to drop out to see who gets to eat pizza. And then Bernie Sanders is going to be... Warren is also in basically the same path where she tried to put a foot in both camps and just failed. So what you're going to get is you're going to have the populist left candidate. That's going to be Bernie Sanders, who's going to have his grassroots funding. Because it's all going to come down to money, especially for the establishment people, but also for Bernie, also for Warren, also for everyone else. And then you're going to have on the other side... Bloomberg just suck everything up, and there's going to be enough people that used to be Biden that are going to go, ooh, he's the next thing. So if Bloomberg was originally intended, his strategy would be better if someone else was pulling ahead of him. But the fact that he's currently the front runner, I think he's going to basically suck out all that energy from everyone else. And if we're in a situation very soon, and maybe after Super Tuesday around there, where the party coalesces around Bloomberg, that's a really good position for Bernie to be in, because everything that he talks about, everything that his campaign represents, can be directly at Bloomberg, and you have a bit of a Hillary Bernie situation again,
right?
And much more positive this time around.
I can't imagine that scenario playing out in that way. It's too much like. If that's his stated strategy from the get-go, why would he just let his ego get the better of him when he knows he didn't do any campaigning
because he's
in
a
Iowa, New
billionaire,
Hampshire?
Paul,
he thinks he can get. He thinks
I don't
he can.
think. I think any wise consultant would tell him, "No, dude, you didn't do anything for the first half of any of the states. Like you just blah, 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 blah. Nope, not gonna get there.
I think
there isn't a path."
I think that someone like Bloomberg doesn't have wise. He has yes men, a lot more yes men.
Yep. And these are people, remember, a lot of
He's
these
a-
billionaires,
he's a-
they're not used to being told no.
yeah,
They never
yeah.
heard the word no in their entire life. They
Trump
always
just
get what
wasn't
they
even
want.
worth $1 billion, and he had an ego.
Well, and
Yeah.
if his stated goal is to be, to stop Bernie, why would he do a thing out of his own ego?
Because
that would
because he
undermine
thinks he can.
that stated goal.
Because a lot of these rich guys think that they can. That's who they are as
Bloomberg
individuals.
can do anything.
Very
He can
rarely.
be like, I can do 40 sexual assault claims and still be loved by the Democrats.
60.
60.
60. Come on, buddy.
I think when you have that much money, I really just think it fundamentally alters the human form.
Right, and think about it too. A lot of these rich guys, they think they get it. Look, Jimmy Dore said it best. They're all sociopaths, especially when they get that kind of money.
yeah.
They're used to basically having their crimes covered up, people kissing their feet, because everyone in
They
this
think they're
country
above the law.
has been sold this myth that we're all going to become rich because corporate media has been selling that capitalism is the strongest system we have. But no, we have corporatism, and in this corrupt corporate system we have where money is speech and corporations are people and our politicians are being bought, people like Bloomberg have that ego, like Daniel said, who think they can get away with it. Paul, these guys think that they can get away with it. But in this primary right now, we have a chance to throw that narrative away. And the only way you can knock out Bloomberg and all these centrist Democrats, if Bernie Sanders supporters unite, come together, show out in mass, bigger army diplomacy, push down that paper wall, slap that paper tiger in the face. We go all the way to the convention, and I'm calling for 1 million plus people to attend Milwaukee and make this thing happen. But plan accordingly. Make sure you have enough supplies and everything, but plan accordingly so that we can actually let the Democrats know we're not going anywhere. And if they pull any kind of convention scams like they did in 2016, like they were doing during the 2016 primary, we let them know, we show our voices, and we take this system down. Because now more than ever, we have to fight for that better future. You know how Bloomberg thinks about you. You know where he stands with you. You do not have a seat at the table with Michael Bloomberg or Donald Trump or even any of these other billionaires like Jeff Bezos. You don't. You don't have a place in their world. It's time for us to fight back. But now we have to move on to another.
Real quick, I do hope that Bloomberg is as much of an egotistical sociopath as you guys claim, and that he will actually
that
do this
profile.
thing and shoot himself in the foot,
He
because
fits that
that's
profile.
the best thing for Bernie. But I don't think we're in a position to be planning for that.
Yeah.
Like we're in a position to still be planning for a split vote and a contested convention.
No, I agree that it's a number of possibilities. For me, this is just a rules for rulers outcome that makes sense to me. It's not the outcome, but I think it's the most likely personally.